I was dancing to the music.
I was dancing too.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good morning. Good
Great
afternoon. Good
news.
day.
My audio and sound has been fixed. I learned how to fix it myself. I'm
Yay.
so awesome, but I can now hear the music playing. So I'm so pumped.
Yay. Love that.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another opportunity for the RANT, Radically Affirmative New Thought. And I'm here with the beloved Dr. Jonathan Zenz.
And I'm
How's it
here
going over
with
there?
beloved Steph St. Amand.
And we get to be together. And we get to be with you. So we're so glad that you're watching.
Always grateful that you're watching.
Yeah. If you are watching, love, like, share, you know all those great things. But for sure, let's share your radically affirmative new thought in the comments. Let's get the conversation going.
Yeah.
If you have a thought you want to share, we would love to read it and get to know you a little bit better through your beautiful creative expression.
Yeah.
So absolutely have fun in the chat.
I'm
Oh,
sharing on my phone real quick. If you're wondering what I'm doing.
yeah, and don't forget to share. Okay, here I go.
Yeah.
Share.
If we tell people to share,
Yes.
we should maybe share ourselves.
Let's share. Let's share ourselves. Right?
Let's share
That's exactly
ourselves.
what we're doing. We're
Well, and
sharing
isn't that what we're
ourselves.
doing in every moment of every
Yes,
day? We are sharing of ourselves in this thing
we are
called
sharing
life.
ourselves. Yes, exactly.
And I think the question then for me then becomes, what is it we are sharing of ourselves? Are we
Yeah.
sharing our disappointments or our joys? Are we sharing a mix of those things? What is the value of sharing our disappointment or sharing our joy? I've got a lot of questions today. Bam!
Wow. Yes. Oh my God. Life is about sharing yourself for
Yeah.
sure. We are not in this journey alone
No.
at any point. At any
No.
point.
A lot of my messaging lately has been around, letting go of the notion that we have to be siloed in our lives.
That's
We
right.
are in this
Yeah.
thing called life together, and let us find the cooperative and collective support that exists all around us. And I think sometimes we forget that. I know I forget it sometimes,
Yeah.
but boy, I'm grateful when I reach out. I am so
Mhm.
grateful when I reach out.
Yeah, like life is precious. This day that we have is so sacred. And
Mhm.
so because like our time in this experience is a finite experience, having this day to share yourself, having this day to be in communication and in connection with other people that,
Mhm.
make sure that you're investing your time, your energy, and your mind space with people who aliven you, people who share your values, share that expression. People who spark up when you enter the room, those are your people, honey.
Mhm. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And let go of the notion that all people have to be your people.
Oh, yes, please. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
That is a
Yeah.
recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know
I
what?
and I that's a huge boulder in the way of a lot of even community building because
Mhm.
we try to keep the door open for absolutely everyone and love everybody. But, there are people who will find their own people in such a way. You don't have to be everybody's person.
Mm-mm. No, and in fact, you're doing yourself a grave disservice by trying to
Mm,
be everything to all people.
yeah.
Um, so let go. Be the right you for the
Mhm.
people that are yours. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
And so the best way to find your people is to actually find yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? The more you know about yourself, the more you discover who you are and where your lines are, where your passions are, what brings you joy, what gets your heart space going.
Hmm.
The You're going to be attracting those people. And so make sure what's inside of you is vibrating at the frequency you want to vibe with,
Yeah.
and just be in that energy So discovering who you are is the first adventure,
Mhm.
and then sharing your joy, sharing all of you. I mean, I have a small circle of friends that are that inner circle people,
Mhm.
the ride or dies. And they're the people in my life who see all of me, all of me. All of me isn't for everyone. That would be exhausting. I've tried it, right?
Yeah.
I've tried it, but you find your fit, and the people who accept you unconditionally for your authentic stuff, your authentic, raw, real self. Those are the people that are your treasures, right?
Mhm.
And those are the ones that get all of you.
Yeah.
There's then there's layers. And then the next layer of people get they don't see the depths of despair or sorrow and me coming out of it. They see the me coming out of it,
Mhm.
or things like that. There's layers to different relationships and different opportunities to connect.
There was a there was a there actually have a construct for this that was introduced to me. I don't remember where I first saw it, but it's been decades now that this is sort of how I've constructed this. And I didn't coin this. Actually, the funny thing is that I remember who coined it and talked about it in this fashion. And it's not someone who leads a publicly spiritual life, um, but it was Neil Patrick Harris, the actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it resonated with me so well, and I thought this is a spiritual lesson for us all. And
Hmm.
when I explain this, I don't want to say that there's any part of this that diminishes authenticity, because I think in all of these aspects and all of these facets of the way we express our lives, authenticity is really paramount, at the core of all of it. But in sort of the way that you described, he says that he lives his life in three facets in terms of his relationship to, you know, to others. Um, and he has a very public life, right? So that was one of them. He has a public life, and
Hmm.
there's a facet of his life that is very public. Well, we all actually have that. We all have public lives. Like
Yeah.
the person that you are walking down the street, not that many of us walk down streets anymore, but the person that you are, like at the grocery store, or if you're out at, I was going to say mall, but malls aren't really a thing as much either. Anyway, I'm getting lost in the details. But the person that you are in public is your public life.
Yeah.
And you can live an authentic expression of that public life. And then the sphere narrows down a little bit to your personal life. And that is your authentic self that you are willing to share with your closer confidants. And it is not necessarily uh, the same as your public life, but you have a personal life as well. And
Hmm.
then you narrow that down even more. You bring in the sphere even more, and then you have your private life. And that private life is not even part of your authentic self that you would show to your closest confidants. And I think we get into this thing sometimes in our culture of like, we have to like explode all of our private stuff out there so that we can
Yeah.
heal it. And I'm like, that may not actually be the best path to healing. But if you recognize and have a willingness to open up in your own awareness around the things that need to be addressed within you, and not explode them all over every person out there,
Hmm.
maintaining your private, your personal, and your public lives, that is something that has really benefited me in my experience.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
And honor
The
honor those aspects of the self,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
all important, and they're all necessary, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I am in I would call a healthy, loving relationship,
Hmm.
married, and um, we say often to one another, "Oh, I'm so glad you don't live inside my head."
Right.
Right? Like, because if we had everything, I can one heal when you have every every thought? Can one heal? Like, you have to be able to think things, write things, get them out. They're like all these important practices we do to honor that healing journey,
Mm-hmm.
or our remembering who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that, it's just for you. It's you and the divine mind working it out. And it doesn't need to be shared beyond that. Who is it helping out there? It's for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff to think about. Right? There's Sherry. Good morning, Sherry.
Oh, good morning. Good
Always
morning.
always grateful to see you online.
Yeah, Sherry,
And
I know you've got some radically affirmative new thoughts. Let's go.
yeah, bring it.
Bring them.
The funny thing is, I could just go get Sherry. I mean, she's literally right down the hall from me.
Put her on the hot seat.
Yeah, I do that though, because she's in one of my advanced classes, and I do stand and delivers. I put them in the hot seat. I'm like, here's this
Yes.
thing that I want you to now talk about. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Explain it.
How
Express it. How
do we learn?
How do you understand it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am in this, because I'm in this fresh new phase of my life, having let go of a whole bunch of things. But I'm in this very fresh place. So I am studying again. I'm the student again. I'm picking
Yeah.
things apart, and like I'm learning about business business and being an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
but with a spiritual aspect to it. And so I'm just submersing myself back in it. And it's the same way I'm immersing myself back in a daily spiritual practice outside of wake up, say thank you. Like,
Right.
I am practicing. I am practicing a spiritual life. This is what I'm doing now.
Mhm.
And it's so rich and it's so joyful that I get to study, I get to pick apart, I get to devour, I get to practice, I get to embody, I get to impress upon myself.
Mhm.
And that, lather, rinse, repeat.
Mhm.
And the our teachers are just so valuable. Are the people in front of us facilitating great conversations and helping us understand ourselves better and what it is, fine tuning our personal purpose.
Yeah.
Who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing?
Mhm.
How am I doing it?
Great facilitators. My approach to, because I facilitate, classes and things like that, and I often say I don't call myself the teacher of the class. I call myself the facilitator of the class, because I am just
Hmm.
as much a student in that environment, I think, um, as others, because I am always learning in that
Yeah.
paradigm. But one of the things that you just made me think of is how do how do I want to phrase this? Um, I don't know how I want to phrase it, but it was something along the lines of, like, how do you approach your own relationship in being a facilitator with those around you? Because there's a funny thing that happens for those of us who've been in spiritual leadership, whether we're ministers or other kinds of spiritual leaders, where we're often put up on a pedestal.
Hmm.
And I always say, knock us off the pedestal. If you put us up on a pedestal, knock us off, because we're all in this together. And so how do you, what are some of the things that you do to facilitate, like, your relationship in the educational aspect of teaching this philosophy?
Like you, I would say I'm a facilitator of
Mhm.
conscious conversations,
Mhm.
really. And I um it's really about being the example and living the example. And so what I hear most often from, people who participate in my classes or my courses or my workshops or whatever, or are part of my life and my community,
Mhm.
um, thank you so much for your authenticity. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for making this real. Thank you so much for um, being the example like that. So I know I'm living it when people are seeing it and reflecting it back to me. And that's what it is. It's facilitating through being.
Right. And I think the greatest facilitators are, when I'm in a class, I strive not to give the answer or to
Mm-hmm.
like say lecture on the doctrine. I'll say, here's something to consider.
Yeah, like I would have the answer.
Yeah, but a great facilitator is someone who creates an environment and a space where people can allow the answer to well up from within themselves, because inherently the answers all reside within us, because
Mm-hmm.
we're not separate from the infinite knowledge that created the universe.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's all within.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about conscious conversation. And that's really how I lead my classes, is conscious
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no different than the Greek philosophers sitting around in a circle and like
Mm-hmm.
passionately debating, or really like what they were doing was chewing on.
Yeah.
Like, I had this dream. It was so weird. Can I explain it? It must be true because I dreamt it. And like having this, um, having other people around us to go, no, it was a dream. You woke up in the dream. Like there's,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's
Yeah.
important to have people around you that are like helping the gears work.
Yeah. Would you be willing, you actually, before we were online live today, you read me something.
Mm.
I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share that, because it's so
Oh,
present in your heart. Yeah. From
yeah.
Tao Te Ching, right?
Yes, the
And
Tao Te
it's so
Ching.
beautiful. I think that it's worthy of being shared
I do
publicly.
too.
Yeah. And frankly, I want to
My
hear it again.
favorite version is by Stephen Mitchell translation, the Stephen
Mhm.
Mitchell translation. But there is probably 7 different Tao Te Chings in the house right now.
Mhm.
um, I have more Tao Te Chings than I do Bibles, but I have a lot of Bibles. So this is lesson number 67.
Mhm.
Some say that my teaching is nonsense. Others call it lofty but impractical. But to those who have looked inside themselves, this nonsense makes perfect sense. And to those who put it into practice, this loftiness has roots that go deep. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures. Simple in actions and in thoughts, you return to the source of your being. Patient with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Compassionate toward yourself, you reconcile all beings in the world.
Hmm. Letting myself take that in.
And,
Beautiful.
and this bookmark was drawn by my daughter, my stepdaughter, when she was like 12. And I have been using it as a bookmark ever since then.
So lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
that
it
that
was,
one has really moved me recently. It just keeps coming up in my practice, and
yeah.
like it's Tammy and I for the past 3 years, our common mantra has been like, keep it simple. We're overcomplicating. Keep it simple, because we have a course, we have a class, we have a workshop, we have something we want to put our whole self into, and we just like, and this and this and this and glitter, and it's like, no, what we have, I like, we remind each other. I'm like, beloved, um, I remember that we have decided, we have chosen to keep it simple. We're keeping things simple now. So
Yeah.
let's return to that simplicity. The simple, direct line is the course we are taking.
Mhm.
And my life, that one philosophy drilled in to a perfectionist and a overachiever and an overdoer, that one sentence has
Mhm.
absolutely changed how I approach my mission, how I approach my ministry, how I approach
Right.
my life.
There's an idea that has struck me repeatedly throughout my ministerial life, especially. And it is this idea that sometimes we prioritize the form, the structure of the philosophy that we built up to around the philosophy, that we've prioritized that structure to such a degree that we've forgotten about the spiritual root of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that my desire is, yes, I mean, we have things in the world of circumstance that we are tasked to care for, right? Like, I'm in a ministry that is a quote unquote brick and mortar church.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have land to address, I've got facilities to address, I've got staff to address. Those are all elements in the world of circumstance, and those do have relevance and importance. But if I weight the importance of the structure over the importance of the philosophy itself, then my life tends to be askew. And so I'm always seeking to find, the middle ground that balances
Mm-hmm.
spiritualizing the experience and recognizing the spirit at the core of the circumstance, um, in relationship to the need for that circumstance to be maintained in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's a call, and this is where I'm really wanting to get to. It's a call to remember that we can let the circumstance dissipate and devolve into oblivion if it is not supportive of the spiritual idea,
Yeah.
right? And so, what are the spiritual ideas that can no longer be supported by the circumstances we have put into place? That's a great question, I think, because
Mm-hmm.
if you have a willingness to let go of those circumstances and allow what needs to be expressed to come up and express,
Mm-hmm.
boy, what a difference. What a difference. And that requires the second part of that Tao Te Ching reading that you just offered, which is patience.
Patience.
Simplicity and patience, both at play
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the compassion for yourself is the foundation of patience.
Yeah. How do you,
Um,
I want to know, because I know we've talked about this before, but I want to know your definition of compassion. How do you define compassion?
just it might have been different before. Like it's compassion is a deep reverence for unconditional acceptance.
Hmm.
That's what comes to me today. Like I have ooh, getting glossy again.
Yeah.
Um I've shared with my community and with this community in this way that I had a really difficult few months there.
Yeah.
And because of that difficulty, I discovered the compassion in my life through me. I had to be compassionate for myself. And because I was there, I was not receiving it in the way I would have expected to in an organizational structure such as I found myself to be in.
Hmm.
I'm trying to be very diplomatic as well
I
as
understand.
generous. And but something happened like 3 weeks ago, and it was just an email. It was just an email,
Yeah.
but they received news about my experience, something that was going on in my life that had deep meaning.
Hmm.
And it was so cold, and it had lacked compassion, and it was from a place, an organizational structure, just letting me know the rules. Here's the bylaws of life that we are following in this structure of in the structure. But the action that had spurred that email was something that required compassion.
Yeah.
Something that like I it should have been received from a place of heart,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
Mhm.
in my opinion.
I have a question
So
though.
that deep sense of reverence for acceptance is like
Yeah,
that is my self-compassion is
right.
what I'm finding that place.
So I have a question though.
Mm,
So, and I'm going to talk about the circumstances for just a moment in the way that I've
mm,
heard them, and I maybe because we're in each other's personal lives,
mhm.
so I may have a deeper insight into knowing what you're talking about.
Right.
But you received information that basically said, "Here's the rules here," and you use this word, and I found it very fascinating. I'm like, "Here are the bylaws. Here's what the bylaws say."
Mhm.
And what I want to ask is, those are bylaws of a certain structure,
Yeah.
and but are they congruent with the bylaws of your life?
No.
And if they're incongruent, then that's the thing. You're going to probably find conflict there.
Yeah.
And the manner in which we address conflict can be either combative or
Yeah.
compassionate. How are you choosing to be?
Yeah.
Because you're probably going to find incongruency in, and I'll use the language, in the bylaws of this related to the bylaws of your own life. And when I talk about,
Absolutely.
I'm talking about business structure because I deal with bylaws in a nonprofit organization a lot. And the bylaws are basically the structure. It is the document that says this
Yeah.
is how we are going to operate.
It is our governance.
Yeah.
It is how we govern.
And even if you do not have that explicitly written down for yourself, we each and every one of us have personal bylaws. We
Mhm.
have guidelines for how we are going to be in the world. And do your bylaws require an overhaul? That's a
Yeah.
that's a question.
Well, and this experience, right? Like I have released um strings and conditions and
Mhm.
all of these things in my life. And so what I see in this you know as my value set is adjusting and evolving
Mm,
to greater degrees of love, greater degrees of truth, greater degrees of compassion.
mhm,
What I see is a requirement is if this organizational structure is one that is um, whose mission is to love or to be a loving presence in the world, their bylaw should reflect that value.
yeah,
That their value should be, or their bylaws, like, so any organization that I create in the future, my bylaws will be definitely a place where we acknowledge we are a heart-centered and inspired community driven by our value, which is love, peace, joy. These are our values. So
yeah,
our structures, our models need to change at this point to better suit the global value that we're looking for, the values that we have a shared value, instead of business as usual, because that's the model that is broken.
yeah. I saw, I know it will probably be a complete shock to you, but the algorithm of my social media has a tendency to show me um, New Thought ministers' messages in the field.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
I know that's
Hmm.
shocking.
That's
Um,
shocking to me.
but you know what it makes me wonder? I'm like, these things get like pushed through in my algorithm. I'm like, I wonder what messages of mine get pushed through into other people's algorithms.
Mhm.
And they're like, hey, who's this guy? Anyway, that's a whole other story.
When you're in my newsfeed, you're usually in an image of you on a stage going,
Because I'm very like, hey.
yeah.
So there's a video that came across my feed yesterday, and I really took note of it because it resonated with me so well, and it made me think. There's aspects of this that we are living on a global scale right now, and I'm going to paraphrase because when I heard it, I was like, oh, I want to write this idea down. So I wrote it down in my own language, and basically what I wrote down is I said, a lack of ease in life is not due to something being broken. Really
Mm,
consider that. A lack of ease in life is not due to something being broken. It is a call for us to expand the container.
yes, yes.
If there is challenge in the world, our divine work is to reframe the world to expand the container, not to try to be in conflict with the world.
Yeah. And I'm not here to conform or convert anybody to any way of being. I am living my life and being who I'm supposed to be. This is all I'm doing from here on out. Woo!
Yeah.
Focalized, but it is not my intention, focus, purpose in any way, shape, or form to convert or to conform other people to a way of thinking or being. This
No.
is what has worked in my life in significant ways, and I'm just sharing it.
It is exhausting to try to change other people.
Oh my God, it is
So,
exhausting.
in the words of Bob Newhart, stop it.
Mm.
Like, just stop it. We don't need to change other people. What our call is, and I think this is my call in ministry, is to demonstrate the manner in which I change myself to enhance the quality of my experience in life. And that is the greatest
Mm.
teacher that there is to be the example.
Yeah.
And not, not in the, we often talk in unity circles, especially, but we talk about this in all New Thought traditions, even though some people like to say, oh, we don't talk about this in religious science, but you do. So get over it. I'm just going to put it out there. Get over it.
Yeah.
We do have Christian roots in the New Thought tradition,
Mm-hmm.
but we also have Eastern philosophy roots in the New Thought tradition. And what New Thought was seemingly trying to do was to find the corollaries,
Yes. Yeah.
that really up to that point had not been deeply explored. But the reason I think that is the reason that I bring that up is because we talk about Jesus, and oftentimes people say the master teacher. I'm like, I will say Jesus was a master teacher among many master teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we like to say the master teacher, like there's no one else that we can learn from. But Jesus was a master teacher, and the power of Jesus's ministry and teaching was that it was a call to, ready? Simplicity, patience, and compassion.
Yeah.
And we in New Thought do not look at Jesus as we look at Jesus as the example, not what's the word I'm looking for?
Exception.
Exception, right. Jesus is not the exception. Jesus is the example. And let us all live by example our own lives in simplicity, patience, and compassion.
Yeah.
I want to throw it out. We've been talking a lot, but I want to throw it out to those of you who are watching. Like, what do you think? What comes up for you? Throw some stuff into the chat. We love to interact with you in the chat, and there's not been much chat today. Maybe we've just been
are you
so
chewing
profound.
on, you guys? Yeah, we're like they're getting a fountain hose today,
They
or a
are,
hose instead of a trickle. Yeah.
Part of our nature. We just go. I often joke, and it's become a joke in all my classes, and even on Sundays sometimes, that me as a minister, why would I say in a short sentence what I could say in 100 words?
That's right.
Or a long paragraph. Like, why not just let it all go?
Yeah.
We are trained to express in ministry. Yeah.
Yeah. Or people who love to express find their way to ministry.
That's true. And yes and no.
Well, I was on a stage at age 5.
Right. And what I have often found is the case is those people who are comfortable being on the stage are frequently uncomfortable being in interaction with groups of people. Think about that. People who tend to be on stage, because this is true of me.
Yeah.
I identify myself as an introvert, and that surprises people because I can be so gregarious on stage. I can be gregarious in this environment. And yet when people experience me one-on-one, actually when people experience me one-on-one, they're often like, that's a more profound experience. But I can allow myself and rev myself up in these environments as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I always say I'm an omnivert.
Yeah.
I'm because again, people think I'm 100% an extrovert, but
Hmm.
it's how you rejuvenate and restore your energy that
Yeah.
makes you an introvert or an extrovert.
Right.
And I have a lot of alone time. I have a lot of alone time, especially like Sundays. If I was out in a community, by the time I get home, I was just like the fire bad trees pretty. And that's a Buffy reference for those Gen Xers out there. Yeah. Sharon's chewing on a chili cook off entry forms.
So I will explain that.
Thank you.
Here at Unity. So Sherry, if y'all don't know, Sherry is my assistant.
Mm.
She works full time here at Unity of Tucson. But on November 15th, we're having a chili cook-off event here at Unity of Tucson where we're putting it out there and saying, hey, those of you who make a good pot of chili, make your chili, bring it in, and we're going to do a tasting and invite people to vote on their favorite chili. And there's a little, there's some awards that we're going to give out as part of our chili cook-off. So it's just one of the fun
Nice.
social things we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great community. If you're listening and in Tucson area and you haven't or don't go to Unity of Tucson, what are you waiting for? It's a great community, great minister, great people. Go. It's on
We,
Sundays.
we
You'll
have a good
find it.
time.
Google Maps will show you where it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
They have their own labyrinth, you guys.
We have a beautiful labyrinth. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
love our labyrinth. So yeah, what else is coming up for y'all?
Yes. Y'all.
You can hear my
What you
grandmother.
chewing on, y'all?
Grandmother's from Texas, so that's the influence. Whereas sometimes I still say y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. We had a class. I've been teaching a class recently. The class is the 12 powers, which is one of the constructs that we utilize in the unity part of New Thought. And the 12 powers are what we would say are the 12 faculties, the 12 divine faculties that are part of each and every one of us as human expressions of the divine. But we utilize this book called Divine Audacity by Linda Martello Whitsett in our exploration of the 12 powers. There is a book by Charles Fillmore, who was one of the co-founders of the Unity movement, called The 12 Powers. The whole title is The 12 Powers of Man, but it's not just of man. It's the 12 powers of humanity.
Yeah. They didn't know. They didn't know better.
No, it was like
They didn't know.
it was the accepted language of the time. So
Yeah.
I give a lot of grace there, but we can also let go of the gendered language. But last night we met, and these were three of the 12 that we had as our discussion last night. So I want to throw this to you out there. If you have any thoughts on this, or you, Steph. The faculties that we talked about were strength, order, and release. Now think about what those mean as divine faculties. Like, what is the divine faculty of release, and how is it utilized in your life? How can you identify it and utilize it in your life? Or order, or strength. Yeah, the part of the dominant part of the conversation last night was to talk about the nature of tenacity. Right? That is actually how we can express our strength, is through tenacity. And so what is a time in your life when you've been tenacious? I think there's a lot of that for you right now. I mean, just in our conversations offline, you have really demonstrated extreme tenacity.
The three powers in my life right now have been resiliency, like burning off all of that excess energy, tenacity, and audacity, like just those three things. But yeah, to be tenacious, it's a wonderful thing. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Just be it. Yeah.
I think sometimes people think of tenacity, though, as a negative trait. I think sometimes that happens. And so, I think part of the exploration that we may want to encourage is let us all go on that inner journey of determining, do we tend to think of tenacity as a positive or a negative trait? And how does that then affect our
Mhm.
expression in life? Because if we think of it as a negative trait, we probably will then hold back
Yeah.
our tenacity in the world.
So got the definition for
Mhm.
so that because I love how we label things, right? As human beings, we label something good or bad, positive or negative in our life. So
Mhm.
this is the Oxford Dictionary that has no feelings. Okay? It's just a definition.
Mhm.
So the quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly. The quality or fact of being very determined or determination, or the
Mhm.
quality or fact of continuing to exist or be persistent. So the tenacity of certain myths within the historical record, right? Those kinds of
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
So some of them, I mean, persistence. These are all juicy, glorious words for me.
Yeah.
When I studied martial arts, I studied Taekwondo for 8 years back in the day, way back there, blow the dust off the gi. Um, you know, but determination, perseverance, determination, these are tenets of Taekwondo,
Yeah.
right? And so indomitable spirit is a tenet of Taekwondo. I had it on a silver bracelet during those days, like just I'm indomitable.
Mhm.
And so faith comes into all of these words. The parent is faith.
Yeah.
Faith in yourself. How do you be tenacious? You have to have faith in yourself. Like persistent determination, faith that the outcome is what you want it to be, determination. These are powerful words.
Mhm.
And I'm back in martial arts technically. I'm week 2 of Tai Chi,
Nice.
and it's that same thing, discipline and determination to be centered in your chi
Mhm.
all of the time.
Yeah.
That's what Tai Chi is, to be centered, and that takes determination and discipline. So all of these beautiful things, strength, order, release, these are the things, the 12 powers, but it could easily be perseverance, determination.
Right.
Um, yeah.
And one of the things I always introduce when I teach this class is I say these are 12 faculties, 12 divine faculties, as Charles Fillmore defined them and synthesized them into a system that is functional and usable.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't believe these are the only 12 divine faculties, right? As
Yeah.
you've already demonstrated, they're like, here's the thing. These are the 12 faculties as they were articulated by Charles Fillmore: faith, understanding, will, which I always say is willingness,
Hmm.
imagination, zeal, that's my favorite, power, love, wisdom, strength, order, release, and life. But what resonates for you as a divine faculty? It may be
Hmm.
something that's not even on this list. And to start to work with that in your life is a great spiritual practice.
Yeah.
How will you apply that in your life in a prayerful way?
Because they're all descriptive words.
Hmm.
They're descriptive words. So how do you live with more zeal? Well, you be it. You define what that means to you
Hmm.
and be it.
Yeah.
There's like the oneness, wholeness, infinite,
Hmm.
the infinite universe, the infinite universe, not a infinite universe.
Well, if you think about the multiverse theory, then we are in
It's all one.
but we are in
Every
infinite
dimension,
universe.
every parallel universe, every time frame, everything, everywhere, all of it, absolutely.
We're getting into semantics, but we're in an infinite universe among
Mhm.
infinite universes.
Yes. Okay.
But even the universe, we perceive the universe,
Agreed.
yeah, we perceive the universe to have edges, right? We have what we can say is the observable universe. That's, in astronomy and
Yeah.
physics, like that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's the edge. Like, and people wonder what's beyond the edge. Well,
Mhm.
infinity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 But it's like, oh, we weren't given a manual. Like, have you heard that? Have you heard that? Right? We weren't given a manual. Yes, you were. We have manuals, right? How many spiritual teachers or facilitators have shared with us determination and discipline? You want to wake up? Determination and discipline. They'll use other descriptive words. Other teachers will use other words because there's a thread for all of us. There is only one of us.
Hmm.
And we all get a scoop of ice cream. There is enough for everyone.
Because in an infinite universe, you can lack nothing.
Yeah. And so let's talk about order here,
Yeah.
right? Like there's enough for everyone. Everyone gets a scoop of ice cream. There's enough for everyone.
Hmm.
How does order use that descriptor? Like the universe is orderly.
Well, that's the nature of the universe.
Yeah.
Order is the first law of the universe. Think about that.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about that in the class last night because I utilized that phrase. Order is the first law of the universe, and yet we could look into the cosmos, and I use that word purposefully. We can look into the cosmos and perceive chaos,
Mm.
right? And yet, fundamentally, at the micro level and the macro level, if you observe long enough, you then begin to understand the intrinsic order, even in seeming chaos.
Mm.
And I use the word cosmos specifically because, as I said last night, the opposite of chaos is cosmos, because chaos means a disorderly universe and cosmos means a well-ordered universe. Look that up in
Mm.
Oxford
Mm.
Dictionary. Cosmos means a well-ordered universe, and chaos
Yeah.
is the opposite of that. But they are actually part and parcel of the infinite wholeness, which is in and of itself fundamentally ordered. If it were
Mhm.
not, I don't think we would exist. I can't imagine how we could exist
How could
without
our cells
some
stay together
intrinsic
if there
order.
wasn't an order to things?
Yeah,
How could our bodies be in form if there wasn't an order to things?
right. Sherry, I love your mind, but my ice cream is the best, and all must only eat mine. Well, yeah,
But hey, at least you're
ice cream
willing to
is the
share
best.
your ice cream.
Peanut butter ice cream with chocolate is the best, and how anybody could think anything otherwise is completely beyond my own comprehension.
Okay, but let's just be empathetic to people who can't have lactose. But
Which I
they,
sit there and I think, I have a slight lactose intolerance, and yet
yeah.
I still eat the ice cream because
Oh, I have found a substitute. I have found, oh my gosh, it is so delicious. I am not sponsored by So Delicious, you guys, but it's cashew.
Mhm.
Sherry, you'll love this. Cashew peanut butter chocolate brownie. It is lactose free and gluten free. It is my new best friend.
Love. I'll have to look
Yeah.
that up. I'm
But
like,
hey, So Delicious, if you want to sponsor me and the work that I do in the world, we have a great mission. I deliver delicious conversation. You deliver delicious plant based ice cream.
there you go. Sounds like a plan. Have we gone off the rails?
Gone off the. That's how I do these days. I just like, what rails? What rails? I don't need no rails. I got no strings to hold me down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pinocchio.
But so strength, order, and release. I mean, these,
Mhm.
I love the 12. You pulled this book out. I have it sitting grabbable. Like it
Like,
wasn't even on the
like
shelf. It was like
we're
ready for me to grab.
we're in different countries, and we have this within arm's reach, like both of us, right?
Here,
Yeah,
let me pass you mine.
yeah. Here.
Trade.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I keep promising because I know I'm acquainted with Linda who wrote the book, um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Get her on here.
I will reach out to her soon
Yeah.
and say we would love to have you chat with us on our rant. Here's a good question.
Yes, pull that up. Thank you.
Yeah, so chaos is a matter of perception and conception. Um, Fundamentally, I would say that is an accurate statement. But if we say that about chaos, we also have to say it about cosmos, because everything that we perceive exists for us. Everything
Mm,
that we can conceive of exists in some form in consciousness, and it is demonstrating in form in some manner or other. So, I mean, that's kind of a cop out answer a little bit. But yes, I would say yes, chaos is a matter of perception and conception.
mhm,
So the question is, if you perceive your life to be in chaos, do you have a willingness to go on the conscious journey to perhaps dive in or pull back far enough to understand the intrinsic order in the midst of seeming chaos? And
mhm,
how might that journey through spiritual practice, how might that journey enhance the quality of your life? Because you're going to have to make decisions about whether or not you're going to allow that to persist in your life.
mhm.
What are your thoughts on that stuff?
I have this thought that some people thrive in perceived chaos, that like they're lot it's like they and I shouldn't say they, because I have been this, my 20s, I and beyond, but I have been this thing
Mhm.
where um drama was everywhere, my life felt chaotic, but I was receiving the things that I needed.
Mhm.
I believed I needed this chaos. I needed that. And I was thriving in it because it was a part of my identity. It was, oh, look at me. I got out of bed today, even though I'm chronically depressed. It was a part of my identity. And so letting go or shedding or releasing those perceptions or beliefs I had about myself,
Mhm.
that melting away the chaos. And so here I am, miles in front of it, being able to see. There are people I know in my life, acquaintances far distant, that are, every time we bump into in a grocery store, they how are you? I'm doing great. How are you doing? And the whole story just unfolds, probably for the 70th time, hearing the same, yeah, your life is chaotic. I know you like it this way. I can tell that you're enjoying it. Like, I can see that this is, it's not chaos, it's who you are. It's like that you're the common denominator in this situation. There's this beautiful grace in that.
Yeah.
Just accepting that from this point doesn't look like chaos. It's just them being their authentic self in the way that they are in that moment.
Yeah. The other thing that I want to acknowledge is that we, and I've done
Mhm.
this, there are times when I still do this. We maintain chaotic consciousness only because we gain something from it, whether we have an awareness of what we gain or it's below the level of awareness. We gain something from it. And so it maintains itself in our experience. Um, and if you want to dissipate the chaos, try to figure out what you gain from it and then
Mm.
find something else that brings you that gain, that is
Yeah.
more rooted in order and the cosmos. And I love this follow up. To do that, analytically dive into your chaos sounds like a hero's journey. It absolutely is a hero's
Absolutely.
journey.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I think too, like as you were just saying, that the curriculum is something that I have been using as this language to get through something, because I was in that really tough place. So a few months ago, I was like, and I'm like, I see a pattern here. I see the pattern
Hmm.
in my life and around me. I'm aware that this is a pattern, and I'm like, I've done this. I've passed the exam on this. Why am I doing this again? I've passed the exam. And Tammy says to me, well, what's the curriculum? Like, if you walk back, like, what is this lesson here? and take a look back. What are your study notes? What's your curriculum? And I was like, oh, so I designed the syllabus for this lesson, and I can finalize my exam, like I can finalize it. I've got all my notes. And so pulling back, writing out, like coming to an awareness of, this is what I gain from it. This is when I'm through this lesson, I will have gained this. I did that. I was like, here's my curriculum. Okay, now I know how to get through this situation perfectly, because I just wrote out my manual for how I've gotten through this before. What is it I really want to learn from this, so that I don't repeat the pattern again.
So that's great. And, we're at the end of, all of a sudden I looked, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're at the end of the hour.
Wow.
But one of the things that I always offer in my community on Sundays is we're now calling it life practice. I used to call it homework, and then I was like, well, people have an adverse reaction to the word work, so now we're going to make it home practice. And last week, 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, when my associate minister gave the Sunday message, he said, I want to change it from home practice to life practice. And so I have accepted that.
Awesome.
And now we're just calling it our life practice. But if we do not make what we talk about practical, then what's the point of even talking about it? So I think that is the practical thing to offer. If everyone who is engaged with this live stream today, or if you're watching it in the archive, go write out the syllabus of your life. Go write out the curriculum and see what comes up for you in that activity, and see if there's anything that you would like to modify or adjust in the curriculum of your life. And then, you know what? Modify it, adjust it, and see what unfolds. I think that's what I want to leave people with today.
Beautiful. Brilliant. Love it. Love you. Love everyone. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Feels like all of a sudden, oh my gosh, it's over.
I know. All of a sudden.
But if you want to, you know what? There's our emails. If something comes up for you, please feel free to email us. We are always welcoming. We love to receive emails. And if you have a topic that you'd like us to, rant on, let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I'm pressing buttons. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.